Rock and roll. This is our first meeting.
This is our first elevation call of 2024.
Woo!
Whoop. You guys are starting the whole year off right. It's great to see everybody. I just see Patty and Jenny are just logging in.
You know, if we could count all the people that were on last week on New Year's Eve that came to the call thinking we were having a meeting.
Oh yeah, but also we did a Facebook Live kind of at the end of last
I know, but we had
year.
people come to elevation call
We
on New
did.
Year's Eve.
They did. They were
Crazy.
very. I see Linda Joyner joining us. Linda Joyner joining. I'm sure nobody's ever said that before. So welcome, guys. It's great to see you. Happy 2024 and welcome to Elevation Call. As you know, this is a brand new year and you're starting habits perfectly. We do this call the first and the third Sunday at 7 o'clock Central. And so I'm just going to ask everybody to kind of mute your line there so that we can get this started. But you guys are already jumping out of the gate. We've got a really great call planned for tonight. In fact, I have two major things that I want to share with you guys. But before we get started, I want to recognize the people who have been working this month and this year.
Yeah. So
What do you
we're gonna hit that, but you know what? I'm surprised because we didn't have a chance to talk about
Yeah.
this, but we didn't talk about.
There's no ranking for the end of the year.
They didn't show it.
Yeah, they didn't
We're
show
gonna
it.
we're gonna get it for
We're
y'all.
gonna find out
We're
who
gonna find
finished
out
the
who
year.
finished the year top in the top 25. So it's off. It's not in the
Yeah, we
back
don't-
office.
it's not in the
It's
back
not
office.
available to see. But we're
Right.
gonna see because there's a bunch of y'all that finished 2023 in the top 25. I mean, a bunch, and overall for the whole year. Matter of fact, there's several of you on that call right now. We're super proud, you know, to be a part of your lives and a part of what you're doing with that. Some of y'all have made some significant advancements. There's new people that came to the Team Unlimited this year.
And in
But
fact, we have a new city ambassador on this call.
is she on right now?
She is Linda Painter,
All
and
right.
Maribel is with her.
You know, it's such a big deal nowadays. I mean, you know, it's just it's really significant in this restart, truly a relaunch of a company. You know, you can go out and start a new company and have a good big bang, but to relaunch something from some of the places we've come from, as y'all know, it's a real challenge. And I was just super proud of our team, and we're proud of ourselves. I'm proud of Lisa for how we finished 2023. It was really good.
I think, you know, we kind of mentioned this on the live that we did the other day. We learned that live meetings work, and we learned that Zooms work. And using those in combination is, in my opinion, is the secret sauce. I will talk a little bit more in detail, but you guys absolutely rocked. We did at 4 o'clock Saturday, it was New Year's Eve. We did a kind of more of a product oriented call about kind of launching healthy habits, endocannabinoid system, approach to balanced health. And you guys had 30 people on that call. I mean, like, we recorded it. We have that as a tool now, but we were that day, we had 17 enrollments on our team. And that's just a shout out to
one day. You guys,
one day.
y'all did. We didn't do any that day, did we?
Well, yeah, I did one or two, but
Okay, yeah.
But you guys were the ones that invited, and you guys were the ones that enrolled people, and so when we find something that works like that, we want to do it more and more and more. So we want to always share it with you guys to say, hey, you know, you're doing a great job inviting, and we're going to talk about that today. But before we get started,
I need to do the leaderboard for this year.
We're going to do just January leaderboard. We owe you guys a recap on 2023. We'll get those numbers, but we don't have them yet.
So let's go with the volume board first, which Brett Sauter out of number 24 out of Ohio. Number 14, Lisa Carter out of Georgia.
Judy Baker.
Yep. You know, that, of course, those that are always on the board, Steve and Jenny Todd at number 10. And my mom, bless her heart, Helen Henson in Fort Smith, Arkansas, is at number 9 in the top 10 on all volume. You know, she is one healthy lady. If you want to be healthy, do like my mom. Be like my mom, Helen.
And you know, here's the thing. All of you guys who either have a parent or are parents, you know, we love our children and we love our parents, but when they're on the leaderboard, you love them even more. Just saying, right, Judy? They become our favorites
Yep.
very fast.
Them are our kids. We can't get any other family members to get on board with this deal, but mom's on
That's
it.
right. Dadgummit.
Anyway, okay. And so then on the enrollments this month, and it is just the 7th of the month.
Yep.
So, it's a good start. But Linda Joyner, who's on this call, Linda,
Shout
you
out,
are at
Linda,
number
Linda.
5 on the entire Zalease leaderboard. And Linda's been very consistent since Dallas on a lot of things. And that consistency makes a huge difference. And then, of course, Christina Durham Bellew. I still don't know how to say your last name. Tell me.
You said it right. Baloo.
Baloo.
Bellew. See, I want to say Bellew.
It's French.
Bellew.
Baloo.
Okay. Christina Durham Bellew.
I like it.
At number 2 is Miss Bellew. And then at number 1, I don't know how we did it, but Hal and Lisa are number 1 so far.
Hey, we're working it, man.
We're trying to just, keep leading the pack, cutting through the trail.
Thank you, Hal.
I-
And hey, I'm looking
I
for
didn't have
more of
anything
you
to
guys.
say, probably.
Well, no, thank you for just
for
reading.
doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, I can read.
Hal and I really work together. If you've got a spouse that, is in the business, sometimes you guys can kind of cross refer. Hal leads other projects, but he always sends me people
Yeah.
who I, chase around and
So
follow
to
up
that
with.
point, can I make a point real quick?
Sure.
So if you have a spouse or partner, what I'm going to say is this, that one of you is truly the lead as far as building this business. One of the two of you is. The other one is different measures of support and leadership. And, don't try to be 50-50 or a 100%, like 99%, 1%. Be who you are. But some of y'all need to recognize that one of the two of you is probably more of the leader for Zalease. And as far as building a team. And so with us, it's Lisa. I refer things to her. I do take lead, I participate, but it's always been Lisa and it will forever be Lisa with Zalease. And so, for those of you who don't have a partner, we don't want to present to you that you have to have a partner like us to build this and be successful. There's several of you who are already doing that. So, there's some of you who said, I need my spouse to do this or whatever. And we want that for you if that's what you truly want. But don't think that because Lisa and I are doing what you see in front of you here now and in the past, that you have to have you have to have a Hal or a Lisa to be very successful with Zalease. So we just want to make that clear.
Right. It's a good point.
So anyway, we're proud of you guys.
Yeah. And I wanted just to kind of, at the kind of the turn of the year and the new part of the year, when we get to really kind of focus on what's important, I want to talk about 2 points today. The first point is process versus outcome. And why I want to share a story with you from a guy I follow, Brian Johnson. I've read to you from him before. He's one of those daily reads that I get, but I really like this story, and it illustrates a point that I want to get some discussion from you guys on. So listen carefully. Gold medal winning mental toughness coach and author Lanny Basham is all about focusing on the process of goal achievement. He tells a great story about one of his clients who happened to be a professional golfer. And that's not you, Hal.
I'm not a professional golfer.
Now, this golfer was struggling a bit. He was setting his goals for the year, and Lanny told him not to think about winning tournaments, but to put all of his attention on mastering the process of playing well, identifying the key components of a successful shot, and then taking it literally one shot at a time. This golfer embraced the wisdom. Early in the season, he's out on the 18th green in the final round of the big tournament. He's lining up his putt, following the process he and Lanny established. He makes the putt. His playing partner shakes his hand and congratulates him. Then he realizes something must be up when his wife runs onto the green cheering. "Did I win?" he asks. "Yeah, you just won the tournament and $1 million. Hero." Imagine that. Imagine being so focused on executing the next baby step in your process that you don't even know you're sinking $1 million putt. And guess what? You are, of course, much more likely to sink the putt when every ounce of your creative energy is focused on doing your best and not leaking out in concerns about doing well enough. And so what I want to
That's
really,
a great story.
I knew you'd like it.
I love
It has
that
to do with
story.
golf, which is Hal's favorite sport.
Yeah, but I've stood over putts that were worth like 25 cents and still missed the putt because I was thinking about not losing.
Right.
Right, Susan Everett?
Now, so there's three things that he talks about. He talks about master the process of playing well. He talks about identifying the components of a successful shot and taking it literally one shot at a time. And so what I want to think about for 2024 is those three things. And I want to ask you, what are some of the components in our playing field of success in this business? What are just, you guys can shoot out just some of the things that you can think
just one at a
of.
time, not sentences, just name them.
Just what are the things that are important?
Unmute yourself.
Products.
Products, okay?
Wait,
Follow
wait a
up.
minute, let me ask you that, Jean. What do you mean about products?
I mean, like products like Edge, Glow, Shield. They're so easy to hand out. Even the coffees. I don't know how many we give out to people and then get referrals from that.
So
And-
product
you know,
sampling,
Yeah, product
Okay.
sampling.
perfect. Anything
Follow-up.
else?
Follow up.
Follow up, that's a big one, Debbie Ray, thank you.
Huge.
Anything else?
Meeting
Follow-up.
people.
Talk to people. Yep.
Talking
Meeting people, new
people.
people.
Meeting people, anything else?
Consistency.
Consistency, Christina, you're a good one to say that. Anything else?
Knowing your products, knowing our products.
Product
Knowledge.
knowledge?
Product. Yeah.
What else? I'm going to share a few more with you guys.
Yeah, we got more.
Encouragement, encouraging our
Encouragement.
teams and our support teams and our teams, personal
And
teams.
here's some I want you guys to write down.
Please write these down.
Three-way phone calls. Inviting people to Zooms. Inviting people to live meetings. Planning meetings. Christina is a master at that. Anything else?
I can name a couple more.
Keep going, Hal.
Absolutely. They're not on the, are they on
Go
the-
ahead.
So presenting to people, either one-on-one or in a small group,
Showing the plan.
the products and our opportunity and introducing them to the company. And so showing what we call, quote, showing the plan. That-
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And the other component in that is really goal setting, because this is really a platform to really help you fulfill your dreams. And I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but at the end of the day, this is a platform for creating income and freedom. And I want us to never lose sight of, even if we have not had that kind of success yet, things are changing and they're going to be outlined tomorrow on the Freedom Call 2-hour call, extra bonuses, extra opportunities. And so I want us to really focus on getting really, really good at the fundamentals, the process. And if we're so focused on putting those blinders on, not comparing yourself to anyone else in this business, but just getting really good at three-way phone calls, at inviting people, at setting up meetings, we've discovered with our Northwest Arkansas team, Linda Painter and her group, she was just relentless about setting up live in-home meetings. And we would do classes at Maribel's Airbnb, and then we would rotate that. We came to Farmington. We've done that over and over again. And that's really where her growth has come from. And so that's just an example of the fundamentals. And Linda's just a brand new city ambassador, but that happened due to her getting really good at the fundamentals. So let's really focus on the process of, instead of just the outcome, instead of the leaderboard, instead of the money, because if you just get really good at the fundamentals, that rest of it will come. That's really the way that we have built this business over time.
Mhm.
So that's really one very, very big lesson. And
So
Go
let's
ahead.
pause.
Mhm.
I just want everyone to soak that in, what was just said for a minute. I heard something today, actually in an AA meeting, and I don't know that I can repeat it exactly, but so we have, and I'm just going to get real, not super personal, but just kind of tell you how my life of 22 years has been. So I got an instruction book that had a lot of stories in it 22 years ago, and I go and I meet regularly with people who are who are working a program. We call it a program of recovery, but it's not educational, even though it is educational for a person who just wants it to be educational. The success of getting and staying sober and having a truly a life of benefit and service to others, you can learn all about it. You can hear about it in meetings. You can have examples in front of you. But our program was not designed to be educational. It was designed to be lived, and it's designed to be experienced. And there's a big difference between having an education on anything, which we provide
Mhm.
on these calls, and actually living the experience of it. And so the things that Lisa just talked about as critical components to success, we can look at it as, yeah, okay, wrote them down, checked them off. Yeah, I get that. Yep. I agree with that. I agree with that. Okay, I didn't know that, but now I know that. So now I'm educated on that. But there's a big difference in life, in a business just like this, between knowing the things and doing the things.
Mm.
It is the experience of doing them that will make the difference in your life. And we hope for you in 2024 that those of you who have had limited experience and plenty of education now would begin to experience these things by doing them more. And so, that's kind of what I want to say about that, because we can talk about it, but we must experience it by doing it. And we'll fail and we'll get back up and we'll say, okay, what do I need to do different? That'll be educational. Remember what I said, do different, not know different. And so anyway, just a reminder that 2024 is going to be a year of doing as well as learning. So
One of the things that I talked about, and I've had several questions from people, is the concept of failing forward. And I hope you guys understand. I shared my thoughts about this on the fast track call on Saturday, because all of us have had goals that we didn't hit in life and in this business. And I think this is the most forgiving business model that I've ever experienced. It's a great platform to do some things and develop muscle in places that you have not had it before. And let me just give you my second point, because I believe that one of the very best reasons to do this business is to develop the muscle of courage and finding your own voice. And just like Hal talked about recovery, I am a youngest child that never really had to develop a voice because my older sister, the dominant one, always spoke for me. So I literally just entered marriage and 30-year marriage and really never developed a voice, and recovering people pleaser. And so when I was first introduced to my very first business like this, I didn't give my resume and get hired by somebody and negotiate a salary. I was basically saying, I think I can do this. And I was representing myself for the very first time. And I thought, what if I'm wrong? Like, nobody's really giving me authority, really. Like, I'm wearing my own shingle. This is not a business that you can see. And so this business required me to become something that I had not ever been before. And when I see you in action, and I wrote down several different scenarios over the last week where I have been so impressed to see the courage that you guys have exhibited in building this business. And let me just give you a couple of examples. Judy Baker and Susan Everett have done some really, really great work learning how to speak to a very high level health professional over lunch, like took them to lunch and then developed another meeting with another health professional. And that took a remarkable amount of courage and knowledge to be able to negotiate that. And so that is what I'm talking about. It is the platform that you can exercise your own act of courage, which leads to another act of courage. And at the end of the day, it's everyone's opinion, no matter what. Like, there's opinions that things don't matter, and then there's opinions that things do matter. But what we have developed over 7 years is a remarkable amount of tools that show people who are open the science of our way of thinking. Does that make sense? Does
I'm
that make sense
amazed.
to you?
Yeah, I'm like, that was really well said.
Thank you, Pat.
And I just want to make the point. It really was really Susan's laughing at us. It really was. I'm sitting there going, wow, you're really on point tonight.
Well, I've got other examples.
Okay, well, you're doing really good. But I wanted to, so again, I want to congratulate Judy and Susie, as she calls her, for the act of courage. And I know for them, both of them are fully, highly, just 100% capable of reaching out to a high level physician or whatever, because that's just who they are. But they could perceive themselves as not being that. They could perceive themselves as that. And as a result, they could fall victim to the lack of courage.
Mm.
And many of us fall victim to the lack of courage. It doesn't have to be a doctor. It could be the neighbor across the street. It could be someone who we heard had a need, either financial or physical, and we fell victim to the lack of courage. And so the point is not go find a doctor to prove your courage. It's when you have whatever opportunity you have, take courage, don't fall victim to the lack of courage. And so that's the point that I want to congratulate them
Absolutely.
on. And you said that really well.
Well, and there's more, Christina Durham saw what we did on social. She's always been a leader on social media. And Christina, I was going to have you share just what did you do that I said, hey, I want you to share this because it involved courage.
There's been a couple things, I guess.
Let's hear it.
So one, you asked me about the meeting and filling a room. And I have done meetings now monthly for a year, and not every single one of those meetings has had someone there. So regardless, that hasn't stopped me from setting up the next meeting. And I honestly sit there the entire time that I gave that I was going to sit there. So if that meeting was going to be an hour and a half, I stay in that place for an hour and a half. And if someone's there to present with me, we still present the meeting to an empty room, because it gives us the ability to say what we're supposed to say. And it's harder sometimes to speak to an empty room than it is to a room, because you feel like an idiot. You really do. But it really has given us the practice that we need to get better every time. And then on a live that I did over the weekend, I've been in the space of Facebook now for March will be 2 years that I've been doing the business in the space. And at the 18-month mark is when I finally had somebody come to me and say, hey, I have a friend that needs product. Here's their number. And just this weekend, again, I was doing a live to get everybody to come to the dream board meeting. And a lady reached out to me and she said, I saw your live that you did last month at the end of the month. I want to know more about your products. And she actually signed up that morning, because she's been dealing with RA for 24 years and she's tried other things, but they really just haven't worked. But because of the technology that we have, it was something that was completely foreign to her. So just having the courage to show up, even if people don't pay attention, because I know not every live that I do or anything that I do always has people there, but it's just continuing to show up, because people are watching and people are following, whether you think they are or not.
Well, and Christina, it's just incredibly bold, to just what you were saying about speaking to an empty room, because what we saw the day after Christmas was a full room,
It was
30
no
people.
empty room. That was
No empty room.
amazing.
And you guys, that, we don't have that here in Arkansas yet, but you're speaking to an empty room allowed you to dominate and control that meeting in a beautiful way when it was a full room. But it's the courage, because my biggest fear in planning an event, can you imagine, is that nobody would come. Like, is that not everyone's worst fear? Is that people won't come, people won't attend. And so when you're willing to make yourself visualize people in the audience and speak to an empty room, that, in my opinion, is courage.
You know the best part? You know the best part of an empty room, totally empty room, like when you have nobody show up?
What?
Nobody knows.
True. You know, I have found though that if you put the fear out there when you're broadcasting that you're having a meeting, and you put the fear out there because you feel it that nobody's going to show up, it is palpable to people whether you realize it or not. So even though the room was empty last month, I don't go into the next month with that thought of, oh, nobody showed up last month. I go in, it's a new month, it's a new meeting, it's completely different time and space. Maybe someone will be here this time. And I look at it from that perspective. So if you lead with fear, that's what people are going to see, sense, and smell. So don't lead with fear.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the mindset of a leader.
Yeah.
So well
That's courage.
said.
That's the mindset of courage right there too.
And that's honestly something that we can learn just by surrounding ourselves with bold people and taking bold moves that are good for people. Let me give you another example. Linda Joyner, who's on the leaderboard, she has been relentless. She has scheduled Zoom meetings with me. She has texted me. She has stayed on the customers who are ordering. She's following up with people. Linda, you have exhibited courage and grace in this kind of being a student of the business. So I just wanted to shout out to you. Tell us how you've done it.
I was just thinking when Christina was talking about the empty room. I've been in other businesses, and each one of them I've taken something from them. And one of the things is you have to go through the no's to get to the yeses. So each no, it may mean the next one could be a yes. Never giving up, no matter what. Stay encouraging, and also know that you feel the fear, but you do it anyway. And the follow-up is very important. And so last year I had talked to quite a few people, and I invited a lot of them, and sometimes they didn't show. But this year they reached out to me. And so I got more meetings scheduled, but that going through the no's to get to the yeses, and not feeling intimidated or rejection or taking it personal because a person said no, because sometimes that no just means not now. It doesn't always mean a no forever. So those are the things I like.
Beautiful advice, Linda.
Once again, so you've heard from two people who are on the leaderboard, what they're doing, but I hope all of you are also hearing their mindset, their thinking process, and this mustering up courage and the self-talk. Because I know that, like Linda, she brought that up tonight, lesson she learned from previous work or a previous business. But I'm sure she had to tell herself that a few times. That no does not mean no. It means just not now. Or I know I've got 10 more no's probably to get to before I get to a yes. So I can take a year to get to those no's, or I can take the next 2 hours, whatever. You got to go through a certain number.
Right.
So
thank you for sharing,
thanks, guys.
Linda. And I want to also recognize Linda Painter, just the courage that she has shown to start building a team, really kind of the first who's really, taken serious action in 23 in Northwest Arkansas. She has set a precedent for courage with her whole team. And let me give you a couple of examples. Nancy Davis, who's a new community ambassador, she was not able to be on the Saturday 4:00 class that we were doing on balanced health through the endocannabinoid system. She said, Lisa, would you be willing to do a Zoom at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning with one of my prospects? And I'm like, I'm not going to do a Zoom for one person, but if you want to get a group of people together, then I will consider it, because we have tools for one person, and Saturday at 8 o'clock is not my favorite time to do meetings. So I told her, do a group. We had 12 people on her call Saturday morning. And fortunately, it was 8 o'clock Mountain Time, so that's 9 o'clock Central. And then we had a follow-up 4 o'clock meeting that was a deeper dive that she got people on. And so she had a lot of courage. And here's what was so interesting. That very first Zoom at 9 o'clock Central, she had technical issues that she could not get her own Zoom to work. So like nobody could get on. and everybody was texting her, and I'm like, hey, we can go on my Zoom. So we go on my Zoom, and then she gets hers working, and she never lost her cool through the whole thing. You know, we all feel like idiots when we can't make our technology work, but I was really, really proud of Nancy. And as a result, she ended up enrolling like 7 people that day. And so just courage to go through and learn the process, brand new to her, followed by Kelly Etzel, who's also on Linda Painter's team, who did her first 3-way phone call today. And she had a new customer who did not want to be a business builder, made it a very big deal, wanted to tell her all the bad things that happened in the businesses that, you know, she was recruited to do. So she wanted to be a VIP customer. She's a new Glow user, and we did a 3-way phone call today. And it was so interesting that this woman that Kelly introduced me to was so engaging and so thrilled with her one day on Glow that she's talking about introducing other people to the product. You know, I never said a word. I just let her talk. But that courage that Kelly has shown, led by Linda Painter, trickles down to the entire team. And I love to watch it in action.
So what's fun for me is to watch Lisa get those calls. It's fun for me to hear her have those calls. It's fun for me for her to come bouncing into the house after she's been walking the neighborhood on one of those calls. And she's so excited because it's the business that she has courageously led. But more importantly, it's new people being excited about more new people. And so anyway, it's fun for me to get to hear you guys doing what you're doing. And I'm telling you, for the last, amazingly, through December, maybe backing up a little bit before Thanksgiving, though the volume maybe not massive, the number of people engaged in courageous and consistent ways, we have seen an uptick in that. So it's really wonderful to see.
And we've seen that there are leaders who continue to show courage and resilience and consistency, like Steve and Jenny Todd. And Jenny is one of the best. She texted me on Friday night and asked if I was available to do a call to meet one of their potential new teammates who is very connected to the Latin America and European markets. And so not everybody is working late Friday night, but Steve and Jenny work this business all the time. And you guys show consistent courage and love every single day. And I just want to recognize you guys for that. So Steve and Jenny, thank you for all that you do for our team. But you guys might not realize that through your own courage, the people that you know will have an opportunity to hear what they might not even appreciate on the first exposure. And so it truly, I think courage is the most important attribute that we start to really not just develop, but recognize and shout out. I want to shout out acts of courage, because every time someone's on a leaderboard, every time somebody enrolls somebody, an act of courage took place. And I want to help facilitate, and I want to help just recognize that, because it inspires me to be more courageous in what I do. And I just want you guys to know that.
So the other thing about courage, so in the example Lisa just gave, you build courage, that muscle you talked about earlier in this business. It's constantly presenting opportunities for you to act courageously. And even as you get to our level, there are different things that we have to do to act courageously that's maybe different than people just starting out. But you're building that muscle of courage within this business. And one of the things that Lisa and I have really come to probably a greater awareness of is that everything we learn to build our character, to build ourselves, that we have to do to be successful in small and larger ways in this business, every single one of those things you can apply to wherever they apply to everything in life. So let's say your greatest act of courage really isn't about making a phone call. It's about something else totally unrelated, like in your everyday life. Could be with a child, could be with a spouse, could be with a parent, could be with an employer, could be with a neighbor, could be with many things. But being presented with that opportunity here over and over and over, you grow that muscle. And where you take courage and find success as a result of that over here, you get to apply that almost more naturally in your everyday world. So what I'm saying with that is this: if there's many benefits to doing what we do with Zalise, but one of the greatest benefits that we have seen personally, and we believe is happening for you and will happen for others in the future, is you grow as a person. You become a better version of yourself, and not just to be successful with Zalise. You become a better person for yourself in everything in your life. And then the people in your world see you becoming that. So I know for a fact that the Workmeisters have done that. We've seen them do that. And there's little, not bunny ears, but we call them little bunny ears. Little rabbits have big ears. Have y'all heard that phrase? And we're not talking about rabbits. We're talking about children and grandchildren. And so when you have little rabbits with big ears that are around you and you're growing, you're taking on life as a challenge and you're becoming the better version of yourself, those little bunnies around the house, they are seeing you do that, and you're setting an example for them. And so all of us have those little bunnies around us, and they may be grown-ups, they may be children, they may be brothers or sisters, they may be people in our lives, people at church, wherever. But people are seeing you change and they're learning from you. So
I love it.
I do too.
And that courage is really in learning to share a strong voice that you have, because those of you who are on this call are committed to this mission. And so I know your voice, and I believe that as we get better and we get better facilitators, with this whole process of one conversation at a time with Zalise, that our true courage is what's going to lead the way to whatever goals that we have set for ourselves. And I want to add to that, Kayla Malone texted me today, and she said, "Hey, I have a holistic dentist on the line. Would you have time for a three-way phone call?" And just so you know, the answer is always yes. Somebody
heck,
has
I
on the line.
I didn't text her. I surprised her. I said, I have him on the phone. Want to
You
talk
had him
to
on the
him?
phone. You
Yeah.
did. And Kayla, that was a tremendous act of courage, not just facilitating that call. Do you mind telling us how you got that referral?
From a physician friend of mine in Ohio.
How did you ask for the referral?
This is Dr. Thurston we're talking about, Lisa.
I know it is. So you asked him for names, right?
I asked him for names. He's a good, wonderful Christian man. He has given away, I don't know how many hundreds of dollars of Zalise over the last 8-9 years. Just gave it away to people who were in need. And right now he's in need of a little extra money. He refuses to be an ER physician under traditional Western medicine because he said, if I signed that contract, I knew I'd be killing people, and I refuse to do it anymore. So he is in need of residual income. And I said, hey, Dr. Thurston, and I know him real well. And I'll tell you I have to tell you a little bit about this man. He tried saving the life of the gentleman who created all the Star Wars figurines. They intentionally euthanized him, and they killed Mark Bedreau. And I was the advocate working with Dr. Thurston at that time. So him and I know each other well. And finally, I just said to him, Dr. Thurston, I can't help you unless you throw me names. I'll do all the work. I'll get Lisa on the call, and I'll see what I can do. Well, lo and behold, I got 2 names from him yesterday. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to pass out, get the smelling salts. And so both of them, they're very interested, and that's how it started, because I have a good rapport with the physician in Ohio.
Well, great job on that, Kayla. And, honestly, guys, it's a great thing to ask people. Who do you know? Like, who do you know that might really have a need for the project that I'm working on? And so Kayla used her voice and her courage, got me on the call. And as a result, we had a delightful phone call with a doctor who has really two specific family members in need of product. So your courage can lead to great things. So thank you for that.
Thanks everybody tonight for your contribution. So we're going to wrap up as far as our part tonight to remind everyone that tomorrow night's Freedom Call, Monday night, January 8, 2024. It goes from 7 to 9 o'clock Central, so it's an hour early. you will get notifications as you normally do, and maybe a little more, but you want to be on that call. They are rolling out some things we don't even know about. They tell us they are, that they're really excited about the compensation plan promotionals, things rolling out for 2024, changes and so forth. So there will be things that still after that, we still won't know about the future of Zalise, as far as like just the complications of the Steve and Angie deal, which are still moving forward, by the way.
Right.
That's all positive. But tomorrow night's call, really, I think we're looking forward to it. We want to hear what they've got planned. I will tell you this, I think it'll be more about us making money, all of us, than anything. I don't think they're going to be doing, product rollout. They might. We really haven't heard anything about that.
No, but we're considering it a launch call for 24. That's how important it is. So, just make sure you get the word out. Obviously, we've put the word out more than once here, but you might have to make a few phone calls to
just tell
notify
people
your
you'll
team.
be looking for them on the call. We
Yeah.
can't see who's on it, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But 7 o'clock, it's an hour earlier. So try to make a point to be there for
Yeah.
it.
So that's really what we had, and we're very excited about the future with Zalise, but we'd love to hear from you guys. Any other acts of courage that you guys want to share? I know I don't see everything that happens.
Anybody who hadn't spoke yet that wants to?
Debbie Ray, I
Lisa-
know you're
oh,
working. Go ahead, Jenny.
Okay. I just love, again, Hal and Lisa, I love your leadership and how everybody is shared tonight. And, it takes a lot of courage to be persistent, and it's the easy way to just give up, but all these stories tonight are just so encouraging to me, like Christina's sharing, for 18 months, she's been doing this and people don't show and she still does it. It takes a lot of courage to keep on keeping on in this business. And I just commend everybody, that is shared tonight and everybody, that's just doing it. It's fun. It's not easy, but it's a fun business. Great products, great people that you're with, but it's not easy some days. And it takes a lot of courage to get out there and just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. So that's just on my heart. I just commend everybody for just hanging in there and just keeping on, keeping on. So thank you, and Hal and Lisa.
Thank you very much, Jenny. And, it always feels when you're first starting out, I do believe this business is a metaphor for life, because life can be hard, and yet we don't want to quit that either. And so what I've noticed over time, going into my 7th year, that we become more and more powerful the more that we have courage to persist in this business. And the only reason that I can jump on a call when Kayla calls me and offer value to her is because I have had persistence myself to stick with this. So Christina's superpower, Jenny and Steve's superpower, the superpower from Susan Everett comes from resilience and persistence, from keeping courage and just to never, ever quit. And that's what I want for everyone, whether you've exercised your courage recently or not. Use this as a metaphor for life. As Hal said, develop your courage in this platform, develop your voice, make an impact on this company and an impact in somebody's life in 2024, and your life will never be the same.
Susan Everett has her hand raised.
Susan Everett.
I want to say one thing. It's like when you talk courage to me, I almost have to have something in front of courage. And before I have courage, I have belief. I mean, you don't have the courage to, I don't know, go jump out of a plane until you have belief that the parachute's going to work. Right. And so I think that's, Jean mentioned earlier about the good products. So to me, I have a belief that the products are good and that the products can help. And, so it's almost to the point of, hey, no, take this with a grain of salt, but if you're too stupid to listen to me and you don't believe the products work, that's your problem. So that kind of gives you the courage. And I don't, I'm not usually quite that direct, but, and it's the belief that, like what Jenny said, you guys give us such great assistance. I cannot believe the amount of time and how available you are, Lisabel, to all of us, and what a difference that makes to us. So I know that if I'm in a pinch, I believe that you're going to help me. And so that gives me the courage to reach out to people, you know, and so thank you for everything that you do. It's awesome.
Can I say something?
Hang on just a second. Let me finish, Kay, then we'll get to you. in just a
Okay.
second, Kayla. So to Susan's point, I do think belief is really important. The challenge, you can't do it without it. But the challenge is picking what you believe, and where you don't believe, go pick something else. In other words, Susan, you believe Lisa will be there. She may not be there, like available to pick up the phone because she's on it with somebody else, but you know she's got your back and that she can handle anything that you can't. You believe that. So where you might have not believe that you can answer someone's question, you do have the belief that you've got somebody to back you up. And so you hang your hat on what you do believe in, take the courage then and apply it with it, and set aside your unbelief for the moment. So it's, you know, it's just that combination is necessary. So where you don't have belief, find what you do have belief in and go with that. Take your courage in that. And then I think what all of us can eventually do, and some of you are doing it, is that your belief turns toward yourself, that I can handle this. I can do this. And that's where your greater self begins to come out. Your greater self begins to rise. I can, handle this question. Maybe not with that person, but with this person, I can do it. So anyway, Kayla, go ahead. I need to finish
Thank you,
that
Susan.
thought.
No, hey, Susan, I was thinking when you said I don't say it quite like that. My courage is I always have to bite my tongue, and I want to say to them, "Are you stuck on stupid?" But I don't say that. Takes courage for me to bite my tongue. But I was thinking, is there any way, and I'm because I'm the nurse, the patients, the clients, to recognize them at one of our big events? Is there any way to Zoom testimonials in live and give them the opportunity to tell all of us how it physically, mentally, whatever, the product helped them?
You mean
That's what we're here for, is the consumer of this product.
You mean at a live Zalise event?
Yeah. Honor the I'm saying the patient who is purchasing our service or our product, and maybe give them a prize or something in the mail. I mean, you get the word out like that and it'll be like wildfire.
Yeah, definitely good. I would just email that to support, since we really don't plan
They don't listen
ourselves.
to me.
Yeah, well, send a paper trail. You can copy me on it.
But we make notes of it too.
We do. I mean,
there are
Okay.
versions of that happen, but good idea. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you very much for sharing.
Has anybody ever put up flyers, if you don't have a large Facebook following, at the stop and go, the gas station class event at such and such address? Has anybody had any luck with that?
Really, I've not heard of it, just because most of those kind of flyers end up, on the ground and not really,
Like on a community bulletin
I mean,
board
it
or
costs money,
library?
and it kills trees, in a way that's not like.
Here's an example, Kayla, the best example I've done, because I was in real estate for years before this and had business cards and little flyers I would make up. And to be honest, I go to the bakery, I go to wherever I go to the bathroom, and in the men's bathroom, a lot of times there's places to put business cards, and they're all over like bakery boards and the Ready Lube where you get your oil change. There's business cards laying around. They're at the pizza place. It's the same thing as that. And I don't think I've ever done business with anyone that had a card left on a board or a flyer put up. And I think most people, so it's an idea. What I love, Kayla, is that you right now are doing the brain activity of, how do I make this thing go? I'm throwing wood into the fire to get it going. And every thought and idea that people have, you're moving your personal thought and business forward in a positive direction. So thank you.
Good creativity for sure.
Thanks.
All right. Let's get close
last,
to the top of the hour.
Any last comments, acts of courage that you guys would like to share? I see Linda now. Was that Jean?
Actually, he said something because I unmuted. Okay,
Whoops.
one of the acts of courage is, you know, I love that I will tell someone something, and I think I have said this on other Zooms before, but I still, as much as I know, okay, I know this is what I believe, but then I say, but you know what? Let's make sure that I'm doing right. And will definitely get a hold of somebody, and I'm not afraid. I don't know if that's the right terms, to be wrong, and to be corrected, to go, oh, well, did you think about this? And so even that, because I have you behind us, Lisa, and all the other people that are so encouraging to us, that we can actually have more courage. So I hope I made sense.
Absolutely.
good.
Thank you for that, Lorena.
All right. Well, why don't we wrap this up
Yep,
tonight?
we'll wrap it up. Any questions? There's
I'm going
Mary.
to interrupt. Sorry, I've
Yeah.
been busy fostering dogs and other things, and it's been pretty noisy over here, so I apologize. But they just got quiet. I have been sharing with people more consistently, even though I had the nose. And hopefully I'll have some people joining us tomorrow night. She's also a nurse, and they're interested in brain health. So there's a few different people. So again, the no doesn't necessarily mean no. It can mean not right now. And yeah, so I'm still trying, and I'm still sharing.
Mary.
I keep sharing. So just one of these days. The thing that was interesting too was I brought up how I used to be, and I watched their faces go like, yeah, yeah, you were, because I was so sick before, and the inflammation, and right now one act of courage is trying to get over the nervousness of speaking here and stuttering and just
You're not
speaking.
stuttering, girl.
Congratulations, act of courage.
I am. You know how fast I can really talk. So
Thank you for sharing, Mary, and keep the acts of courage going, because you just never know who you're going to run into. And one day when somebody says, yeah, that's really what I've been looking for, you're going to be really surprised, but you're not going to show it because it's always exciting. Right, Linda Painter? I see Linda and Maribel over there. Finally see her. Just again, want to recognize Linda, new city ambassador. Yeah, the other exciting thing, you guys, Linda and I are going to represent this team at the Rock On. So we'll be heading to Cancun, February the 2nd through the 5th.
I have a couple more people on this call going. I think there's a couple more folks going, but nonetheless,
and that in and of itself
I'm
for
gonna
me is an act
I'm gonna
of
stay
courage.
back in the cold of Arkansas.
Yeah, Hal's gonna sacrifice. So Linda and I, somebody had to take one for the team, so we're looking forward to sharing with you guys what that's like. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for being on this very first elevation call of 2024. Continue to refine those attributes of the process. Continue to exercise your voice and your acts of courage, and you will build a business that is absolutely unstoppable. So thanks to all of you guys. Much love. Thank you for being on, and we'll see you on the 2-hour freedom call tomorrow night.
See you guys. Love you
Bye-bye,
all.
guys.
Thank you.